All right, sounds
Right.
good. Hello, everybody. It is Alicia Patterson, and this is the team call for November 4th. I have kind of gone back and forth on what I was going to say tonight because things have changed a little bit. Lindsay and I were going to lead the call, and then she's not feeling very good. So we were trying to just kick off November. So huge thank you to Amanda and Devin for supporting me tonight and helping sharing all the good things that are going on right now and kind of how to finish the year off strong.
Hang on, Alicia. Okay. I muted everyone, but then I fixed it. Now you're unmuted. You're good.
Okay. I know. I'm like, is there an echo or am I hearing things?
We're good now.
Okay, sounds good. So as I was saying, huge thanks to Amanda and Devin for jumping in and helping with this tonight. So I had to laugh actually when Lindsay first asked me if I would do this with her because I feel like this past week has been hard for me, especially. And that is kind of the first time it's happened since I started coaching, where I felt like I couldn't even keep up with the business activity tracker. I didn't have the motivation to do it. I don't even want to call it a funk. I don't even know what was going on or things like that. But life was just happening, I guess. So I feel like Super Saturday and really taking a look at what I was reading for personal development was a huge game changer for me this week. So I will share a little bit about how I'm kind of getting back on track, but just know that if you're in a season where you're not really sure if what you're doing is working or you feel like you have fallen off on your business activity tracker, that is something that you can change in an instant and get right back to doing all of the things. And it was kind of interesting to see how, even though I wasn't doing what I normally was doing, I had done enough in the past that I was still having good conversations with people. I was able to take care of myself, be social on social media, and there was enough momentum in my conversations that it kind of carried me through a week where I really was drowning. But a few things just to give you a preview of what we kind of talked about of what to focus on this month. We of course have the Countdown to Thanksgiving group as for our challenge groups, and there are a couple sneak peeks planned, so be sure to be inviting to those and getting your people in those. And then today we kicked off the new coach mentorship. So Lindsay Gray, Lindsay Francis, and I have kind of been running with that. And we just switched the name in the group to say November New Coach Mentorship. And we changed the picture. And I went live today to kind of kickstart that. So if you have any people that are just starting, be sure to plug them into that group. We talked about doing a weekly live, and we're going to try to do check-ins instead of daily, maybe like every couple of days, because just to boost engagement and help people and to continue to support them, but also help them navigate where to spend their time. So with that all being said, is there anything like calendar wise you feel like I'm missing that people need to know about?
Flash sale. I know Lindsay just talked about all of this in her video today.
Okay.
But I know she's planning on doing a flash sale with, I think, Christina and Lisa, the 24th and 25th. And really, you guys, all a flash sale is just really a group where we're highlighting our challenge packs in a more detailed way and explaining the savings that people get in the challenge packs and in our products. So it's not an actual bigger sale than what No Excuse November is. So for those of you that might be confused about that, it just is a group for all of our products to be able to just kind of promote them as a big sale. But it is just the same sale that we have all November, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I noticed that Lindsay went live in the Goal Getters. I haven't actually watched it yet, but if you haven't either, I would suggest going and watching that for sure to hear all the good things she did have to share. So with that being said, when things get crazy, I talked about this a little bit even in the new coach group, because at the end of the day, what has helped through October when I felt like I really fell flat on my face was just continuing to follow my program, follow my nutrition, switched up my PD because what I was reading was not working or just wasn't helping me what I needed at that point in time. And then staying active on social media as much as possible and showing this whole new training that we're doing with that Brad, who was on the phone call last week, is just enjoying all of this through the process and not always, waiting for that end result. So even though I'm just in the beginning stages of getting caught up with all of the good things that he's had to share, just keep putting that like in the back of my mind. Like, am I having fun? Is this making me happy? And how can I enjoy this without getting stressed out? And that has really helped quite a bit, I would say. There was something else I was just going to say and I lost my train of thought. Of course, there are those days where like you have to put in the work. You have to make sure that, you do X, Y, and Z to move your business forward, but we should still be able to enjoy it throughout that process. The other thing that I think Lindsay talked about this in her live. I just briefly saw she put some things in the comments, but aside from taking care of myself and trying just to share things on social media still, so people are still seeing what I'm doing, on top of just everyday life and family and stuff like that, I am making sure that I am still having conversations with people. So, of course, supporting who I already have, coaches and challengers wise. And I've been frank with them and saying, like, if my response time is longer, I apologize. But I really just have to be super intentional when I'm in my inbox or on social media, not getting lost and wasting time. So I've been limiting just one time a day. So I'm staying focused in certain areas and then just continuing to have conversations with people and building connections has like naturally led to more invites. I reached out to Jackie Hart actually, because I happened to look at her following and I've been trying to grow my Instagram following and banging my head against a wall because I feel like I kept hitting a dead end. And then if I wasn't constantly doing it, then I was losing followers and different things like that. So she shared a great training with me, and I think Lindsay talks about it in her live and puts a few of tracker things that they're using. And I know next week on the team call, I think Elise is going to be on the team call, and then maybe the week after I'll come on and run an action hour and help take everybody through it. But a big part of it is just being social on social media and not only commenting and complimenting on people's photos, but adding followers, unfollowing people, and just having those meaningful conversations, because that is when you are in a funk, which I was, like, I still had plenty of people to talk to and invite, or people were reaching out more to me then, to the point where I almost couldn't keep up with who was coming out of nowhere. And it was like, where's this coming from? Like, why couldn't this be happening when I had all this time and I was focused and felt organized and on top of my game? So I guess the message that I just want to share is that you just never know who is watching still. So if you feel like what you're doing isn't enough, just know that it is, and that people are noticing and watching, even if you might not be hearing from them right then and now. So that's kind of the season that I am in at this moment, and just to try and finish the year strong and get back on track. So I don't know if Amanda or Devin would like to share a little bit about what you girls have been up to.
Yeah, I can kind of piggyback off of some of that. So I'm coming off of our retreat this weekend on a super high. Just like a quick recap of the retreat, there was 8 of us that came out to Breckenridge, and I just got to spoil them rotten, which was wonderful, and just like felt so good to just connect. And I think Megan said it best. If you go read her post, basically it was just like, we all have a place to belong, and coaching brings that to people who don't feel that they have a place to belong. And I think we all like shared our coach stories and we did a whole bunch of stuff. And one of the things that came out was just like, there's no other friendships like coaching. It's just, I have great friends. I love my friends. I have lots of different groups of friends. I have church friends. I have friends from Chicago. I have, friends from here, friends that live in my building. I have so many different groups of friends, but there's nothing like coaching. It just is so different. And what we realized what it was really, we feel that we can be our truest selves selves without judgment. And it's like, everyone just is accepting and loving, and we are all so, so different, but we all have this same like passion to be better and to continue to be better and to help other people be better. And just having that connection, no matter how different we are, allows us to connect to our true selves as well as with each other even deeper. And so I think that was like the biggest, like, not a aha. It wasn't like something that we didn't know before, but it was just like so cool because we had a couple brand new coaches like at the retreat, because it originally was going to be a diamond retreat, and then it really ended up only being like 3 diamonds that could make it. And so I allowed them to open it up to if they wanted to bring anyone from their team. And then I opened it up to my 2 kind of my local coaches, because I thought it would just be great. They don't know the Chicago coaches, obviously most of my team is from the Chicagoland area. So I invited them, and one of them, Jillian, has been a coach for like a 1 month. And another girl, Amy England, who is in Kate's downline, Kate DiMatteo's downline, has been a coach since like August. And so for them to come and just see, like, and just hear from, I've been a coach for 6 years, and like, Megan's been a coach for 5 years, and Kate's been a coach for like 3 years, but that we all are on the same mission and helping each other. And they felt like they belonged, even though they've only been a coach for a month, 2 months, right? So I think that was a huge highlight of just kind of the weekend, and it's bringing us so much joy to move forward through the end of the year. I know it is for me, and just like kind of giving me that drive again. And any live event does that. So if you went to Super Saturday, like that just does that. Like Alicia just said, her Super Saturday was just like, okay, I gotta get back into it. A live event and being with each other is so crucial. And if we can't do that all the time, we need to just do more of this together and just connect as much as possible, because you have to lean in when you want to lean out, because life is crazy. You have to do the opposite and lean in and know you're not going to have the answer, and you might not have anything to say, but you're going to hear something from one of us or from somebody that's going to hopefully reignite you, right? So just like, if you're in that season right now, one, I'm proud of you for being on this call. But if you're not on the call right now and you're listening to the recording, like lean in, and as much as possible, I know it's not always possible, but get on the calls live. Like it does make a difference than in a recording, because I know when I'm watching a recording of a video, even like doing Josh Coates training or doing Brad's training that I'm doing, I can easily get distracted and be on my phone and trying to work while I'm watching a video. And I do that with team calls, or I'm listening to them as I'm driving, and it's not the same as being on a live call or being at a live event. You're not distracted, you're there. So that's just one thing. But also kind of with some of the things that we did this weekend. Saturday was my birthday, and we just had fun. Obviously we talked about coaching things, but there was no trainings or anything. We started sharing our coaching stories with each other that night in the hot tub. But Sunday was like all training, and I recorded all those. So I will share those with you guys. But one of the things, our very first speaker is my friend Emily. She lives here in Fort Collins. It's in Colorado. And she's a go-getter. She is like a doer. I should say she used to be a doer. And what she's learned over the last year through therapy and meditation and lots of just inner work on herself is that we live in a society. I'll share. She explains it a lot better than I will. But we live in a society that when I have this, then I'll do this, and then I'll be happy. Right? When I'm this, then I'll blank, right? And really we need to turn that around. I am happy, and because I'm happy, I can do this, and I will have this, whatever it is. And so she really turns that have, do, be to be, do, have. And she explains it so great. She has so many great examples in her life and analogies. And it was just I think when Alicia was talking, all I kept thinking was like, you need to remember, even in this season of craziness or whatever, to just be. Just be. You don't have to do. You're going to do more if you just be and be silent. And I hate silence. It is so awkward. Like if I'm like in a room with people and it's silent, like even this weekend, it's something that I'm growing through and getting better. But like if none of us were talking, I'm like, oh, are they mad at, or is someone mad? Like, is it okay? But no, everyone was totally fine, you know? And so just learning to just be a little bit more, and through meditation, you can start with 2 minutes of just quiet. Just close your eyes and be quiet. And that's all. Like set a timer for 2 minutes and grow that time to be longer. But I know I've not been doing that because I was having a little struggle with whether or not with meditation versus prayer and God and my faith. But I just need to know where my heart is. And so I can pray, I can meditate knowing that I'm like focused on Jesus. Anyway, that's just kind of side note for me. So that's kind of one big tip I have for you, is to just, in the next couple months, it's going to be crazy with all the holidays and trying to, do your tracker and get all your work done and do all the things. Do is the word I just said a million times. You need to remember to just be, and to be quiet. And when you are quiet, your mind then is able to have so much more space for the things that you actually need to get done and want to get done. So that's that. And then we had a second speaker that talked about inviting. Honestly, it wasn't anything like, woo, brand new, but it was just a good reminder. And again, we had some newer coaches there, so that was cool. And then the third speaker was this girl, Izzy. Sorry, the second speaker was a girl, Stacy, from my 3 to 4 star mastermind. And the third speaker was Izzy Bradshaw, who is like the number 3 coach in the UK right now. Lindsay and I met her at Leadership, and she's just like, she really has positioned herself on Instagram as a leader, attracting coaches. She doesn't go for the challenge pack, she goes for coaches. So she really just talked to us a lot about Instagram and a lot about positioning yourself as a leader, and just really like how she's done that. So I will share all of those, but it's funny because this Coach Jace Instagram video was also what Izzy shared with us, and then Lindsay shared it from somebody else, but it's all within, Izzy knows the same girl that Lindsay got it from, Izzy Bradshaw. It's Izzy Bradshaw Fitness on Instagram. I think it's like Izzy_Bradshaw Fitness, I think. So if you want to check her out, but I will share her video with you as well. And then it was awesome. So I will share all of those with you guys. What else? And then in terms of I watched Lindsay's video and got myself organized today. So I got home this morning after taking 4 girls to the airport, and I was like, ugh, I needed to introvert for a couple hours and turn my phone off, lay on the couch, take a nap. So I turned everything off and did nothing. And then I woke up all right, drink some Energize and do some things. So I went down, printed all the things. So one thing that that I'm getting back into, again, it's that kind of time of year, is habit tracking. And again, tracking just helps you stay focused on the things that you want to be doing. So some of the habits I have is wake up by 5 a.m., meditate, devotional, plan my day, which some of these things are also on my Josh Coach tracker. Make sure I'm reading my PD every day, do one of my trainings, because I'm finishing Josh Coates' leadership training and just started Brad's Appreciation Academy. So that's on there to do that every day, because I can easily retreat and get home from work and be like, I don't want to. So I have that on there. Completing my business tracker, doing that IG growth thing, and tracking invites. And I'm sure I'll add other things to it. But so I have that in here. I have my Josh Coach trackers, which you guys, any tracker you're using, I mean, it's very similar to the business activity tracker, right? Or whatever it's called, Success Club System Tracker. But just find a tracker and track what you're doing so that you know where you can work on things a little bit more. And then I have those Power Hour trackers that Lindsay posted all of those in the Goal Getters. And then I printed all the things, all the exercises for my Appreciation Academy. Just have everything like going. I know that when I'm more organized and I have everything in a place, I want to do it more. I want to show up. I will show up more. And it just helps so much. So like it's printed for the rest of the year and it is here. And now just need to hold myself accountable to actually doing it. I think that's
Right.
it.
I was going to say something my coaches and I have started to do too is like, actually we did this for a while and then got away from it, but we actually like will sit down and plan out our day, like similar to how your checklist. So from 5 to 6, I'm going to do this for this, like to every half hour and plug things in. Now, of course, you have to be flexible because things are going to change and some things won't get done, or if you're thrown a curveball, but it seems silly, but it makes such a difference. I feel like when you really just each night sit down and write out like how you're going to get it all done in a day, and you will get more done than you would have if you didn't. Or even if I like to work off a to-do list, but when I put that time to it, it just keeps me more focused than I normally would be.
And I did this habit. It was Atomic Habits, but I went to a whole like habit hackers like conference here in Denver. And a big thing was like, you cannot work for more than like 50 minutes at a time and you need to take a break. And take a 10-minute break or a 20-minute walk break. I know Brendon Burchard talks about that a lot too, but I know a lot of us don't even have multiple hours in one chunk to work at a time, but you need to plan that out, what you're going to do in each chunk of time, and then take that break. You know what helped me so much was I shared that in my stories. Be like, okay, it's my first work block, and in my first work block, I got blank, blank, blank done. Now I'm going on a walk, and I would like have that break and share that in my stories. And I don't care if maybe people didn't give a shit, but like it was accountability for me. That's all your stories are, right? Like they're accountability for you to show up, and then like hopefully it inspires others to learn something too. So that just another little tip that you can start sharing. Kind of work block 1 I did. I know Lindsay was doing that too for a while, and we kind of have gotten away from it. But like checked messages, read my personal development, invited 5 people or whatever it is, and you're like kind of putting it out there, and that's kind of sharing what we do for coaching too as you're kind of going along. So I think that's all I have right now.
Very good. You had a lot of good stuff. Thank you. I appreciate you jumping on and helping.
I know I almost was like, oh, I'm so tired, but I'm like, no, I'm excited. Team calls always like make me feel better and wake me up, and I was excited.
Yeah, I know there was 2 things that you were talking. I'll share real quick, and then Devin, if you want to hop on and share some good stuff, because I know you always have good tips too. I agree with you. Like leaning into the team is so crucial. And I talked about this on the new coach live that I did today too. Like, I feel like that can be so scary at first, but I also reiterated to all of them that like, this is probably one of the most welcoming group of people you will ever meet. So even if you don't know who to reach out to Amanda, myself, Devin, I'm sure anybody that is on this team call, and it will just totally change the tone for your day. It's unbelievable. And the other thing I was going to talk about, okay, so when things get really crazy, or I feel like I don't even know if what I'm doing is working, I always think back to like what I needed to see. Like what did I need to see from Lindsay that made me want to join? And I'm sure for each of them that might be a little bit different, but I know for me that it was at the end of the day, she was having fun. She looked great. She looked healthy. And she had this community of people, this friends, and she had a job that gave her an income and the flexibility to be with her family. So I focus on the things that, like, there are a lot of things I even know that this all entailed until her and I really got going and started talking. But I think back to like, what were the initial things that I saw that I knew that like that FOMO almost, like, what did I want to be a part of? What was she doing that I wanted? And that finally motivated me to reach out and, immerse myself into all of this. So that's just something to keep in mind too, as you are sharing and stuff on social media. So with that being said, Devin, what do you have for us?
Hey, yeah, I totally agree with all of that stuff. Everything that you guys were saying. I think that, yeah, the part that Amanda was sharing about, like, well, and Alicia, yeah, both of you guys were talking about the whole concept of just like enjoying the journey and remembering that, like, I think for all of us, we probably can say that part of the reason that we got into coaching was, for our own accountability and for our own kind of like this community and feeling um, motivated in our own health and wellness. So I have to check myself and go back to like my original, like Josh Coates said this in the original training that a lot of us were in with him. Um, I forget how he worded it, but it's something like you have to kind of think of it sometimes as like, if worst case scenario, is it still worth it? And like that doesn't, it's like a lot of times we should be and are focused on like goals and like best case scenario and manifesting what it can be. And I think that's important. But that really was like a reality check for me, because I was like, you know what, that reminded me that like sometimes we can get caught up in like Amanda said, doing all the things and like just enjoy the journey. Like worst case scenario, these are products that I love and I'm doing something that I love and I'm helping people in no matter like whether it's huge ways or small ways, and with a community of people who are like pushing towards like better. So that's amazing. Yeah, that's what, like, you guys, everything you were saying definitely made me think of that. I did have some tips to share that are just kind of like practical things to keep in mind during like the November, December time. So as far as like, this is kind of a hard time for getting people involved, for like finding new people, for getting people to commit, because everybody wants to make the excuses of waiting until January. Things are too busy right now. Money's tight right now. They're going to be perfect in January, right? So I've kind of been using that, honestly. Like I've been talking about that a lot in my posts and stuff. Just that concept of how we all so easily have fallen into and could fall into that idea of like, well, I'm not going to focus on any of the things that I know that I want to work on about myself right now. I'm just going to push them out until January, and I'm sure I'll be perfect then when I make my resolutions. But we all know that that like so often doesn't work. So I've been using that concept, like reminding people of that in my posts and stories a lot. Also, I just think something that's always helped me, no matter what time of year it is or whatever, if I'm like pushing for a goal, or if I have something that um or I just feel like I'm like struggling to get new people interested, something that always helps me is starting a new boot camp or whatever you want to call it, challenge group that you're excited about. So sometimes it can be like with another coach or whatever. I know that for me, a lot of times I sort of realize like I need to plan my own and like put my own kind of like skin in the game and get excited about it. Um, because then I just feel like fueled all the time to talk about it and to share about it and to be excited to, put more info out there. And I feel like people just vibe off that excitement and then they want to get involved as well. So like right now I am launching this growth project boot camp, and it's all about like continual growth through this time where people so easily can just like fall into like the I'll grow in January kind of thing. Um, and so getting excited about that and kind of launching it as this new big exciting launch of this thing that I've got going on, I think helps people to still want to be interested, even though it's like not great timing being November and December. Another thing is like, and this is, I think something Alicia said reminded me, but continuing to do your like sneak peeks or your coaching presentations during this time, doing with other coaches is super important, because I know I fall into being like, I've made a coach presentation in the past and I can just send that one out, but it definitely just brings renewed energy. Um, and kind of, I don't know, for me, it gives me renewed energy. And I think it also just, other people can kind of sense that that's new, it's fresh, that it gives you a new way to invite, because it's not just like re-inviting people to something that you've already done. It's like something that's new, that's about to happen. That's like, I'm going live on Tuesday or whatever it might be. So I know for myself, I'm definitely like kind of setting a goal to still like do some sneak peeks during this tough time. Not tough time. You guys know it's busy. And then as far as for me holding myself accountable during the holidays, like I know I'm going to be traveling. I know I'm going to be gone in like with family in New York for a week in this month. And I know that in December there's going to be so much going on with family and Christmas and all of that. So for me, what I'm doing is kind of planning, although of course I'm going to enjoy the holidays. I'm going to enjoy those vacations and I'm not going to be stressing about like all the things I need to do the whole time. I know that if I plan for myself some time and some things that I am going to set aside and like those are the things I'm committing to getting done during that time, I know that I'll feel more prepared. I'll probably actually get more done and I'll probably feel less stressed about, I'll probably be able to enjoy that time and that vacation and those holidays more because I'm not going to be stressed about like, oh, I didn't plan for anything and now I'm just like letting all the things go. So like for myself, I know during, for instance, my week in New York during this month, I'm going to kind of like plan some things that I want to just get done every single day. It's not going to look like my same schedule when I'm home trying to work. And I know that. But if I just sort of say like, oh, I'll try to do the same things and then I don't plan for it, I know I'm going to end up doing nothing because I can't fit it all in the same way that I would if I was just at home doing my normal schedule. So I am going to sort of make myself like a vacation schedule almost, or like a holiday schedule. And for those days that I am traveling or that I have family in town, and then still have a few things each day that are kind of my priorities for my business that I want to check off so that I can feel on top of it, but also, stick with doing the things that I want to do and that I'm committed to doing, also still enjoy my holidays. And I don't know if that might have been all that I really had to share. Oh, one weird little kind of random tip that I just kind of stumbled on when it comes to like more engagement on Instagram and finding new people is, so we all know about like the hashtags and like use hashtags that relate to you. And like, I feel like pretty much we've all heard the whole hashtag thing. And I think that's important, but I have to admit, I got to a point for a while that I was kind of like, all right, I'm putting hashtags on all my photos. I kind of put like a couple different groupings of ones that relate in some way to the picture, but pretty much my just general like things that sort of relate to me and what I'm doing and mom life and the things that I'm into, that like that whole deal. Had a couple different sets and I put them on every picture, and I also the whole time sort of felt like they weren't doing much at all. I felt like maybe they were getting some like random other business accounts liking my photo, and maybe that was boosting my engagement, and maybe that was causing real people to see it, and that's about all I felt like they were doing at all. And then I talked to a friend of mine, my brother-in-law, and he was saying that he thinks that that's not the case, and that maybe we're missing, or I'm missing something with hashtags, and that people do use hashtags, but it depends on like which ones. And I was kind of like, but that's the struggle, right? It's like which ones, and like how do you relate that to yourself? So I've been playing around with that a lot lately, trying to make my hashtags much more to specific to the photo, like thinking, okay, if somebody does actually search, or like if somebody were to stumble on this photo, like what would make them interested? Like if they were to search a certain hashtag, would they see this photo and be like, yeah, I want to click that? Or would they be like, what is even that? Why is that even on this hashtag page? So I've been thinking about those things. And what I found out, this is kind of the roundabout story, sorry. I got like a lot more engagement on a couple of my Halloween pictures, which of course people like costumes and stuff. But like one in specific was like the jack-o'-lantern picture. And I was kind of like, why? It was not really anything that was like stand out from other ones. And I was like, why did this photo get like twice as much engagement as my other photos? And I have I don't think it's a business account. It's like a creator's account or something. You can change your Instagram to that now, where I can see insights on my photos. So anyway, I looked at the insights for that specific photo that got a lot more engagement than some of my other recent photos. And 50% of the engagement from that photo had come from hashtags. And I had happened to hashtag it like a bunch of things about like jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins and Halloween and whatever. And I think that what I determined with that is just that like people are searching hashtags, because I before was sort of thinking people don't use hashtags except for businesses. People are searching hashtags, but they're only searching like relevant, like I don't know. It's like you have to think about like what hashtags will people actually search? Like tips for things and ideas for things and relevant concepts. Like I think I lucked out because it was like the weekend that everybody was carving their jack-o'-lanterns and I hashtagged it jack-o'-lantern stuff and people probably looked up that hashtag and saw my photo. So anyway, that's just something that like very recently popped up and I've been playing with and thinking about is how to actually use hashtags in a way that like matter, not just throw them on every picture because that's what we know we're supposed to do. And figuring out what hashtags are relevant to people. And I think I'm going to like start playing around with like doing a post every week that's kind of specific to like what's relevant right now. What are people possibly like searching or interested in during this time, especially with the holidays. It kind of gives you like some good fuel for just like stuff that people are into right now, just to boost that kind of engagement and get new people seeing your page that are actual people searching for Christmas decorations or whatever. So yeah, I think that's all
good tips
that was on my mind.
Yeah, those are really good tips.
They're having hashtag issues connecting with the picture. Always try to witness. It's getting girls that wanted to. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Huh. Maybe it was a certain hashtag.
Yeah,
I don't know what that would be. That's really odd. It could even just be though that like, I don't know. Yeah, that's really weird. Like maybe there's a specific like hashtag that those kind of pages or sites like found. I don't know. And you were just having like that specific issue, or it was like not letting you hashtag things the same way? Huh. Yeah, that's really weird. That's pretty weird. Yeah, I don't know. Try switching them up. I mean, I definitely feel like that's sort of what I've been doing in general, is just trying to like try totally not, I mean, it absolutely has to relate to the picture and it has to relate to you or there's no point. Yeah. But just try different ones.
I think also with hashtags, Izzy talks about this, and I watched another video about this. I didn't even watch the whole thing, but my new coach shared something with me. She was like, basically like, hashtags don't matter unless your profile is set up to be a profile that somebody wants to come look at and see. Do you know what I mean? If you're regularly sharing a post on your social media, at least once a day on your Instagram, I should say. If you're regular sharing on your stories, if you have a bio in your profile, if you're not regularly doing those things, you're using a filter, you need to learn and do those things first before you start using hashtags, honestly. And I know that may not sound like, whoa, the best advice, but I think that sometimes we just think, like Jillian, my newest coach, was just like, oh, I got to do all the hashtags and do all the things. But she has to position herself on Instagram as somebody that's like a leader and wants to help other people before you even really start using hashtags. So like get your photos in line, like get a posting schedule set up, get your bio set up, like have that all kind of start working on that before you like kill yourself trying to find the perfect hashtags.
Yeah, true.
I even posted the other day, like, I think they talk about it in that video, just to like boost engagement on some of your posts, like asking people a question because people love to give advice. So I asked something about cutting Anastasia's hair. Not that I have any intention of doing that, but she does have a mullet right now. So I was like, when do you cut a little girl's hair? And oh my God, the amount of people who like commented on that. So I don't know, hopefully with the algorithm, then it shows them more of my other posting that do relate to challenge group and coaching and things like that. But little things like that can even bring out a lot of engagement on your post and then hopefully keep it going. I thought of two things while you were talking, Devin. Oh, this being a hard time of year. So my pitch to a lot of people that I've been talking about in my stories and my posting too is that why not have this as your gift to yourself? Like this was my gift to myself for my birthday. I told Cameron I just wanted to coach, buy the challenge pack. I want to do this. Like I just want your support and everything in this whole process. So that's something my coaches and I have been doing, is just kind of to promoting it and sharing it in that way of like, why wouldn't you gift this to yourself? Because it's gonna make you happy. And then I also, as far as like the coaching end of things, then, you know, can be a stressful time of year, especially when it comes to finances. So sharing how coaching can even bring that, you know, you can get started on your own health journey and it'll provide that financial relief, and you can, you know, make that extra money to buy those Christmas gifts and do all the things that you want to do this time of year. And I've been trying, I hate talking about money, I hate it, but I have tried really hard to make a money post every Thursday, considering that's our payday and it's just like a habit of mine. And whether I like it or not, I just try to share something. And even if you're a newer coach and you feel like, well, I haven't really accomplished what I wanted to yet, like sharing anything about financially what you're doing, I think is huge too, because yes, the community is great. Yes, we're having fun, we're looking good. But at the end of the day, I feel like that is a big piece of people like willing to put in the extra effort and take the leap and wanting that financial freedom. I think it's something that for me, I'm like terrified to talk about it. I hate it. Every time I make a financial post, I'm like waiting for my mother to call me and be like, what are you doing? um, but I think that it makes a big difference. And again, I go back to, what did I have to see? I knew Lindsay was having fun. I loved everything she was doing. And then when I saw that she was financially benefiting from all of this too, it was like, sold, like I want in, I want to do that, like I want to change my career, you know, throw that out the door. um and even, not that you have to do that, but you know what I mean. I just think that's a good thing to share with people, because that could help a lot of people this time of year too.
Mhm.
So yeah, does anybody else have any other tips or things they want to share after hearing what the three of us have talked about, or anything else that popped in your mind as we were speaking? Or any questions for us too? I know I tend to go fast.
No?
No, you guys are too
Is anybody
easy.
on a laptop? We need to take a picture.
Yeah, I'm on one. I'll take a picture.
Sounds good. Is everybody, if you're not showing your picture and you can, hop on.
Yay. Oh, look at
Good.
All right, ready? Smile. Awesome.
Oh my God. So I have to tell you, my husband's like, why are you wearing a scarf? And for those of you that watch me or know me, I always have a robe on. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to wear my robe on the team call when I have to talk. But he's like, why are you wearing a scarf? I'm like, I'm freezing.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
But anyways, well, thank you for listening. And thank you again, Amanda and Devin, for hopping in last minute and helping out. And I hope everyone has a good night. If you need anything or have questions, let us know for sure.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye. All right. Bye.